start recording.
Cool. And
Hello,
we're live.
can you hear me? And we're live. We are, aren't we?
Yeah. All we gotta do is start the streams.
Oh, that.
I hope this works. Let me pull up my YouTube.
And we're live.
And super prepared.
Yes, super prepared. Welcome back to Let's Tech About That with Jay and Jake.
With Nephew Tech.
Nephew Tech.
And J-Mart Media.
Yes, so brief introduction of myself. I am Jay, and I run the J-Mart Media YouTube channel where I talk about programming videos or programming concepts and teach you how to use Python and JavaScript and hopefully some photography videos coming up in the near future. And this is Nephew Tech.
Jacob, and I don't make videos yet.
Yes.
Yet. Still trying to figure out what I want to create exactly. And then the harder part that I'm having is figuring out my editing. Editing is a very hard task. And
Very time consuming.
I don't want it to look like a live stream like this. I want it to look much more well produced. And that just takes a little time to learn. So hopefully one day I'll learn how to edit a video and I'll quit using that as an excuse to make some videos.
Yes. So do we want to go over our brief topics?
Yeah,
We've got some stuff from E3. We've got, well, actually last week after the stream, I got on my first VR experience, my first legit VR experience.
It started out pretty rough,
on
and
his
it got
VR
way
set.
better.
It started out rough with the controls. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but it got better, and kind of want to talk about my experience and where I think VR will go in the future.
Okay.
And then we've got some cool stats that Bill Gates shared on Twitter. Some of our critiques, which we may go into a little bit. So thank you guys. If you critique the show, thank you, because it really does help. We've got how social media accounts can affect your credit score and your job applications.
It's
I'll
just
add that in.
terrifying. Welcome to China.
Google stealing song lyrics, a website claims. Samsung telling owners that they need to manually scan their television for viruses. Not just your phone anymore, boys. They're hacking into your TVs. It's getting bad. And I found an interesting topic about the possibility of NASA opening up the International Space Station for commercial businesses in the near future, maybe in 2020.
And it turns out you can't buy tickets for other people.
Really?
You can't send someone else off the world.
That would be really interesting. Also, it turns out that I can't afford it, but
It's close.
I have $20. That's about it. Yeah, so you want to start off with E3?
Sure.
Basically,
I put all of my opinions in the docs. You know exactly where I'm going.
Kind of boring.
Very boring. It was a complete waste of time.
So if you don't know what E3 is, basically it's a big video game conference for the most part. I'm not sure what it stands for.
Electronic Expo something.
But basically it's a big expo where a lot of video companies release the first promotional stuff for their games.
Yeah.
And this year, not really too exciting.
Nothing interesting. Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Okay.
So video games. But yeah, the only thing I enjoyed about the entire thing, and there's a compilation which I'm going to put into the description down below, but this compilation is during the Bethesda panel where there's this one dude that's sitting in the very front, and every other sentence they do, he just screams, "Yeah!" and just goes all out. They ended up finding the dude, and a news outlet, I forget who, I think it was The Gamer, ended up finding him. And
they interview him?
They interviewed him. He was not paid. He was not a plant.
Oh, okay.
He just says he was super ecstatic about it.
That's funny.
He might just be a troll because he got his 10 minutes of fame.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll post a link down below with this video.
So Bethesda makes the Fallout games, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Those are their big
and
games.
Fallout's a very hard fan base.
And then we've got...
But that's everything that happened at E3
Yep.
that I cared about.
that
was it. Wasn't even the Bethesda panel. It was just the guy.
Just the guy screaming during the panel. And then my thoughts on VR. So like I mentioned last week, after the stream, I hopped on Jake's, what was it that?
HTC Vive.
HTC Vive,
This
which
is the original.
a VR headset, the original VR headset for the first time. So I'd never done VR before. I've done some quadcopter flying where you have some goggles on that are similar to VR goggles, except they don't have the head tracking and it's not 3D. And it's a lot lower resolution.
Did you ever try one of those stupid little phone apps where you...
I've done the Google Cardboard as well.
Okay, you have done the
Which
Google
is the cardboard cutout that goes around your phone, and then you have some lenses in front of your eyes.
Okay.
So it is VR,
yeah,
but it's really low quality,
yeah.
and your eyes don't really line up.
Yeah, before I bought that, I tried the Google Cardboard with my phone. It's a garbage experience.
And Google Cardboard, yep. I had read that if you're wanting to get into VR, you might want to try Google Cardboard first to see if you're interested. I don't recommend that because it kind of actually turned me off of VR.
Yeah.
So I guess that was technically my first VR experience.
Kind of like saying if you want to learn how to drive a car, you should start with riding a bike.
Yeah.
To get used to the rules of the road. It's like, no, it's completely different.
Yeah. So, but my experience with the Vive was actually really good, and I think the VR will take off in the future. So I played 2 games. I played Beatsaber, which is a game, I would compare it, well, it's a game where you've got these blocks coming at you and they have arrows on them, and you're slicing the blocks with your sword to the beat of a song.
Most people
kind of like
call
lightsabers.
It Guitar Hero.
It's like Guitar
And
Hero,
Star Wars.
except with lightsabers slicing blocks.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. It was actually pretty fun. It sounds stupid when you're listening to me, but when you see it, it's actually really hard and pretty fun, especially when you kind of get into the beat.
Yeah.
And then I watched his brother play it, who was just
Freaky
destroying it.
Yeah. No, but yeah, if you never even heard of Beatsaber, you have to go look up some of the YouTube videos.
Look up a professional Beat Saber player. It may
not
not impress you, but once you play Beat Saber and see how hard it actually is, then it will definitely impress you. I actually did watch some of these videos after I played.
After you did play?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I even sat there and I watched the video, and you can change the YouTube playback speed, and you can put it slower, and then you can learn where the notes are.
Gotcha. So you get that muscle memory?
Yeah, we used to have a plugin for it where you could actually change the speed to slow way down.
Okay.
And you could have it loop, so you could slow down and then loop a certain part and just
section.
practice it. But then the plugin stopped working with an update. And so the YouTube is a really great way to memorize the notes.
And you can even, I guess you could do them while you're watching it on YouTube. Interesting. So that was the first game that I played.
Yep.
And then I tried to play a shooty game.
Yes, CompoundVR.
Which, my biggest problem with that was, as I kind of expected, the locomotion, which is how you move around,
was garbage.
It was pretty garbage.
It used to be really good, and the dude updated it.
Yeah. So the way I was moving around was almost like a joystick, except it was on a touchpad. Almost like the Steam controller. Yep. So it's like a touchpad, like a laptop touchpad, but for your thumb, and it's a circle when you're...
Yeah.
But it was very sensitive, and my thumb would accidentally get on it, and I would just shoot across the room.
Yeah.
Plus, I was moving in physical space as well, which made me nauseous. And I never threw up or anything, but I was definitely feeling sick after a little bit of playing that.
Yep. Yeah, the one thing I do like about doing locomotion with real movement is if I go anywhere more than 10 feet, I use locomotion. And then once I'm in a corner, then I'll actually move in real space to go around doorways.
Yep.
But it's one of those weird muscle memories that you wouldn't ever use outside of VR. And it's a really weird experience.
So that was my bad experience with VR.
I really wish you'd fix it, CompoundVR. It's a great game.
But the next game totally had me 100% immersed. Maybe not 100%, but I was definitely immersed inside the VR experience, and that was SuperHot, or what is it called?
SuperHot.
SuperHot, which is a game where, so they have it on the PC without VR as well, and I'd seen some people play that, and then they, I guess, adapted it to work with VR as well. Yeah. But the concept of the game is when you're stopped, time is stopped, and then when you move, so if I move, then the enemies move as well.
Yep.
Bullets move, and gravity has the effect on objects in the game world.
And one thing I really like about SuperHot is it gets rid of the idea that you versus a computer, the computer no longer has the advantage of being able to outthink the out-reaction skills.
Yeah.
Because you can pause time but just not moving. You can move your...
It gives you time to plan.
Focus around the screen a little bit. I mean, you can move your head and you'll lose a little bit of time, but it gives you a chance to plan. And you can't say, oh, the computer only killed me because it's a computer.
But I was totally immersed. Like, I wasn't noticing the screen door effect, which throughout the whole experience, the screen door effect was very small. I couldn't notice it when I was into the game.
Yeah. And the weirdest part about the screen door effect is it appears most on the whiter screens because it's brighter
and SuperHot
pixels.
is all white.
Yeah, it's white and red. Those are your two options. And yeah, I never noticed it either.
But so it was a really good. SuperHot was a really good VR experience. I would probably suggest it to anybody as their first VR experience.
If they like action games.
If they like action games, yeah, true.
You have to be very fit to play.
Yeah, but I got so into this game that there was a countertop in the game, and I went to rest my hand on this countertop, and guess what? Obviously, it wasn't actually there, so my hand just goes. And I was like, wow, I was totally immersed. And then there were points where I was either out of ammo in my gun, or they were coming up close on me, and I was laying down on the floor.
Get a full body workout.
Trying to peek around the corner of this box to shoot at them. It was very immersive and a really cool experience.
The one thing I always get caught for, like you were trying to set something on the counter, is a couple of games, it's like a playhouse type room, so like there's just toys on the floor you can pick up and just throw.
Yeah.
But I catch myself stepping over the toys when I'm walking around.
Yeah.
It doesn't register to me that they're fake, and I can just walk through them.
Yeah.
It's like there's this carpet, and there's a little chest on it, and you come up to the chest, but it's only like, it's like a little tiny 3-4 inch play chest, so I would just step over it. But everyone else in the room was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I was like, stepping over the crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I never had the counter experience where I think it does happen on doorways.
Okay,
where I gotta
like
peek around the doorway.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the toys always get me on the floor when you try to step over a toy or something.
So I think once VR gets past the locomotion problems.
Yeah.
And once they get more of market share, more people get VR, more people use it.
Yeah.
I think devs will really start pushing towards VR.
Yeah. The one thing I really, really want to see with the VR, though, is universal control schemes. Because every shooter game has a different way to shoot, load, and pull up a new mag.
Okay. Yep.
Because if you like zombie games, I think we could play Arizona Sunshine, which is a zombie shooter tonight.
Okay.
That game is what really made me like VR. That was the game that was like, this is more.
It's really
than a 10-minute fun game, because Arizona Sunshine's like a 4-hour game, and it's like full story driven.
I was looking into the Steam Index or Valve Index a little bit this week too.
Okay.
And
I have not.
One really cool thing that they have is their controller senses your fingers. So you can raise one finger, so like a trigger finger.
Yeah.
Or, middle finger. Or you can actually control your individual fingers in the game.
Oh.
So you can wave or do hand motions. So I think that might add some more.
Okay. Because I know a lot of people are looking at VR glove type things where it'd have like 3 little things that go over each part of the finger.
Each part of your knuckles or whatever?
Yeah. And it could tell how far you have it bent. So it can't be super precise, but it's a lot closer than what the original HTC Vive was.
I wonder if your laptop is hooked up. Let me check. Are we good to look at your laptop?
Sure, why not? I don't know how to do full screen anymore.
F11?
That's what I thought. There it goes.
There you
cool.
go. All right.
That'll work.
So, all right.
Oh,
cool.
it works.
So go look up Smarter Every Day and find, I think it's his last video. So for those of you who don't know, Smarter Every Day is one of my favorite YouTube channels. It's run by a guy named Destin, and recently he made a video.
Not about that one.
No.
Okay, I just watched that one. What was it called?
Look up VR. It was actually about a year ago, I think, that he uploaded the video.
Okay.
But anyway, he made a video about a VR glove that has haptic feedback. So, yeah, see if we can get to a screenshot where we can show this.
Hey, it's me, Destin.
That's Destin's voice. All right, yep, any of those are fine. So, let's show that. All right, so you can see the glove on Destin's hand, and it's got some sensors on the back to detect where his fingers are, but it also has some kind of retraction device on the back of his fingers, so he can only move his hand a certain
Distance?
amount. Yeah. So what we were doing the other night with VR was we were interacting with the virtual world.
Yeah.
But this is kind of bringing it back to where the virtual world interacts with you.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So in his hand, you see, well, actually, look on the far left side of the screen. You see the raindrops coming down from the cloud? So on that glove that Destin has, he has like air bladders on the palm and the fingertips. They can inflate and deflate. So when he puts his hand underneath the raindrops,
that's genius.
The bladders inside the glove can
compress,
expand, and retract to imitate pressure like raindrops falling on his hand. So
holy cow.
So this is another giant leap for VR.
I never thought about that, because then that makes it, when you go to pick up like a cup or something,
your hand
VR,
cannot crush the cup.
It won't crush it because there'll be some type of like air bladder or something like that.
Yep. So later on in the video, I would highly recommend that you guys go watch this video. What's the title of the video?
A real-life haptic glove. Ready Player One technology today.
Smarter Every Day, episode 190. I would highly recommend that you go watch the video. But yeah, so in the video, he also grabs a rock from inside this little scene and picks it up, and he can't, like, the retention devices on the back of his fingers prevent his hand from collapsing onto where the rock would be. So he picks up the rock and he's able to toss it.
That would be very weird to experience.
Yeah. So this is a total another level of VR. Not just you interacting with the VR world, but the VR world interacting with you.
Yeah.
So kind of unrelated to what we were talking about, but I think it's really interesting and a huge step for VR.
That's a super cool idea, because the one thing I don't like about VR and the interacting is single-handed guns are super easy in VR to aim and shoot one hand, but the two-handed gun model, you have nothing to perch the gun on your shoulder or the two hands.
Yep.
And so if you do just like this, your sight goes everywhere because you have no way to hold steady. Yeah. And so that's one of the parts of the universal control scheme is also universal weapon sizes. So, I mean, you can have 12 universal weapon sizes, and that should be plenty for most games. But then that way you can buy, like, essentially Nintendo Wii add-ons.
Yep.
And you can stick the controllers in, and then you have something to help aim with multi-handed guns or even, like, samurai swords.
Yeah.
Because it's really weird to use a two-handed sword with one hand.
Yeah. But I definitely think that VR will take off in the future.
I hope. But yeah, I really like it. I never heard of this glove. That's a really smart idea.
Yeah. There's that, and then there's another video that Destin made. Have you seen the OmniDeck video? So the OmniDeck is a treadmill that can go in any direction.
Yes.
It's a deck that can move omnidirectional, the OmniDeck. And basically, you've got like guardrails around you in a circle, or probably an octagon, and then a treadmill that can move this way, but also segment into moving this way. So you can move around on the treadmill as if you're moving or walking around in the physical world, and make that move you in the game.
So I hope I can find them on my computer later to show you.
Okay.
After I saw that video by Dustin when he first released it, I opened up 3D modeling software, and I made like 400 revisions, and I was showing a couple different friends at the time that were a little more mechanically sane than I was. I was like, what do you think of this idea of a stationary any direction treadmill?
Yeah.
And I have an entire folder dedicated to my designs on this.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a definite good idea.
Yeah.
Dustin's treadmill that he was on was electronic though, so it actually physically moved. Mm-hmm. My design was on I forgot what they called it, but it was an older style where instead it was just a slippery surface. Okay. And so you're basically in a giant metal bowl.
Are you in a sling as well, like a harness? Okay.
Yeah, but I wanted a way to make it so that you can run in your giant metal bowl with slippery shoes.
Huh.
But then it also has enough room that you can just jump and then drop and you'll lay down.
Gotcha.
And so you can do lay down, squatting, and running. Because one of the big problems with like the OmniDeck is that you can't lay down. And SuperHot, laying down is essentially the only way to survive.
Yeah. I was ducking for cover, boys. I'm envisioning like a giant hamster ball.
Yeah.
That you're talking about.
Because the first game that this would be amazing for is a game like Temple Run. where it's just you on a really long track and you just run and you just have to jump side to side in your harness.
And then slide under stuff and jump over stuff.
And I think that would be the game that gets the a treadmill its glory that it needs.
Yeah.
Because an open world game, people are going to get too bored of too fast. Because open world in VR is very tiring to walk. There's there's a few like jogging games where you just, it gives you an open world and you're just run around it. It's essentially all it is. Mm-hmm. And it's fun for about the first 15 minutes. And then you realize you've been jogging for 15 minutes and you're done.
Do you know if our city has a VR-cade?
They don't. I looked, because I looked at the opening one.
Man.
There's one over at the beach.
Okay.
And I debated on driving down to try it.
Yeah.
Just to go in to experience.
And see what it would be like to open one up. And yeah. You could put up a VR-cade booth.
Yeah. We're close to 30 minutes, I think.
20 minutes.
Oh, we got 2/3 of the way.
But I would say, yeah, overall, my experience in VR, good. If you're starting VR, start with, if you like action games, shooter games, start with SuperHot.
Yeah. Or find someone who owns VR and have them start you out.
Yeah, have them find a game for you. All right, what's next?
Oh, this is a fast one. Antivirus scores.
Okay.
So it's actually something I look at not regularly, but I definitely pay attention to. AV Comparatives, super cool website and like organization. They test all the different antivirus software on the market, and they purposely put in like false positives or actual bad viruses to see how each antivirus program,
how well they detect these.
Because not only does it matter if they detect all 5,000 viruses put on a computer, but then they also need to detect false positives. So if it finds 5,003 viruses, it gets knocked down in score because it found 3 things that it thought was a virus, but it was not a virus. But then there's other ones, like it gets knocked down in score if it detains it, but then it needs the user to say if it's a virus or not. And that's like, I forget their fancy word for it, but user submitted or something.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's really neat in the way how close they all are together. And there's a chart down here we can screen share. So here's
ready to go?
Yeah. So here's the false positive chart here. So it's showing how many false positives each one detects. So like Microsoft's is probably Security Essentials or Windows Defender. Lots of false positives. But then you have one program down here, Viper, that's found 0 false positives. So everything that it did detect was a virus. So most of these down here, I mean, most of them have 2 or 3, everything between around 5. And that's pretty normal. So, I mean, if, like, Bitdefender found 2 things that it thought was a virus, but were not a virus. And then we come down here. This is my favorite chart here, the summary of results.
Wow, those are really close.
So this chart is 100% at the top and 75% at the bottom. Wow. So it's not 0 to 100. So everything is within like a 3%. I can't really show it with my mouse because this pops up. Because they all come right here around that 97.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, 98 to 100%. But you don't only want to look at the gray because at the bottom down here there's a yellow line, and that's the false positive count.
Okay.
So even though Microsoft has a pretty good score where it's only a little bit of yellow, it has a very high false positive count right here. And so you want to look for something like Viper over here has 0 false positives, and it's 0.3% compromise. I think it missed 2 of the viruses that were put on there. But it's a really cool chart. I wish they included a few more antivirus programs, but those are the main competitors. It's a really cool chart to look at because a lot of people just buy whatever the person at the big box store tells them to buy.
Yeah.
Or whatever comes pre-installed on their computer. They just pay for it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you look at this chart, it's probably on there as one of the lower rated ones.
Are those free? Are some of those free and some of those paid?
Yeah,
Are they all paid?
Some of them I think are free. I don't remember. This is a really long thing, so I have to reread it again.
Yeah.
But I think when it was possible, they used the highest paid version.
Okay, gotcha.
Because maybe, I don't know, because right here it says Avast free antivirus.
AVG free.
But then they have, like, maybe because it's Panda free antivirus. But then they have Norton Security. I don't know if that's free or paid. I don't know. Read the article, because it's a long article, and I'm not going to sit here and find it live. I'll post that up and in the description. Antivirus. What's up next?
The Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. So, I'm more interested in the website he shared. He shared a really cool website that I've never even heard of before, and it arises a more controversial topic, but it's a really cool website there. I gotta finish writing this real fast.
Okay. Yep. So the website he shared was called Our World in Data, and it has a lot of, it looks like, data visualizations. Their first line on their web page is research and interactive data visualizations to understand the world's largest problems. They've got over almost 30,000 charts across almost 300 topics, and all their charts are open access and open source and free.
Did you just make that up?
No,
Oh, you just read it?
I read it off their
Okay.
first page of their website.
Okay. It's like, wow, that's a really good description you just made up there.
Yeah. No, I've never used the website before.
All right. Yeah. But Our World in Data, I never even heard of it before. But it's a really cool website with big data, which used to be a hot word a few years ago. Not so much anymore. I think most of the people that were against it are, at this point, not able to use the internet.
So they've got charts on health, food, energy, environment, technology, growth and inequality, like economic stuff, work and life, war and peace, politics, violence, education. They've got charts about everything.
Almost everything.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a really cool website to look at. I wish I could find it again. I searched for about 30 minutes today. I couldn't find it. But it was a active charts. It was showing you through the years per country how many babies were being born per family.
Okay.
But it was showing like 200 years ago it was like a ridiculous number. It was like 8
High.
per it was like 8 per family. And then all of a sudden around like the 70s and the 80s it drops down, and then all of a sudden we're at like two kids per
You
family.
mean the 1970s?
Yeah.
And 1980s? Wow. So was that high even up until then?
I think so. I
Okay.
really
Or-
wish I
or
could find
pretty
this
high,
chart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the olden days, a lot of that would have been due to, well, probably just infant mortality and the shorter lifespans.
Yeah. And I really wish I could find it again.
But yeah, if we find it, we'll post it down in the description of one of our videos.
Yeah, because there's some really cool charts if you care about the, big
The big
scale.
picture.
Yeah. But it's not really tech news, but it's the idea of, in order for this to be possible, they have to collect some amount of information about people. And I think this is mostly limited to what gets put on census report, I would believe.
Okay, yep, I can see that.
So I think that's what this is mostly going on. I don't know for sure. There's actually a spot that says data sources. We can find where, so on each of their charts, it looks like it can show you where they got their sources of data. But I would be curious on how much longer it is before they start using
Collecting data from Facebook
Yeah.
or social media
sites. Because it turns out one of our topics is about that.
our next topic after
Our
this
sponsors,
short break from our sponsors.
not our ads, because YouTube doesn't like those.
Nope. This video is sponsored by Jmart Media and
Nephew Tech. That's pretty much it. If you want to be a sponsor, we will stop sponsoring it so you can.
yes.
That's the goal.
Oh, you want to talk about our critiques for a little bit? Or that's mainly for us.
Yeah.
But we tried to get more to the point this week, straight to the point rather than chit-chatting around about whether we're actually going live yet.
Yeah, but don't worry. At the end here, we'll chit-chat.
Yep.
I ain't getting rid of it.
Fiddling around with hands, eye contact.
I've been really, really trying. If not making eye contact, I keep reading the board game right above it. I just keep saying life. It's right above the camera, and it feels less weird than staring into the eternal eye of the camera.
And then we also were suggested to use it as a podcast.
Or not.
Where you can just listen to it. But we're going to stick with
YouTube has
this
this
for now.
amazing feature where it still plays the video if you're on a different tab on a computer.
Yes.
So use it as a podcast that way.
Oh, and there was an awesome quote. Oh, yes. Oh, man. I wish I could find this quote.
But, yeah, the next topic I really wanted to talk about that went well into the big data topic is how social media accounts can affect your credit score. And we've known for a while that social media accounts definitely affect job applications and where people hire you. Because one of the things you do as someone who would want to employ somebody is you find out as much about them as you can before you hire them. But one of the things I was interested in was social media can even be used for if you're like renting. It's like apartments or if you're renting a home. What you do on social media could affect whether or not you're living in a house anymore.
Yeah.
And now the Vice posted an article here recently. We can share this.
First, let me get back to my quote from
you found it.
Our constructive criticism. This is from Mark Verheiden, sorry if I mispronounced your name, who gave us some good critique over on the Tech Nibble forums. He gave us some critiques and then said, I really did like, even though it was too long, the harpooning of Apple and their incredibly stupidly priced monitor stand. Thank you for that comment. That made my day. Anyway, back to the article we're talking about.
Here's the article pulled up by Vice. Credit scores could soon get even creepier and more biased. And it's a really well-written article. I read it once. Probably won't read it a second time for you, but definitely check it out. One of the scary things about this article, I think, is how few people didn't know. Like, a credit score is one thing, but like how few people don't realize how many different people look at your online presence.
Yeah, because I do have a friend who actually has a landscape company, and even he looks at people's social media to determine whether they can work for his company. I mean, and this is a landscape company, which is not...
You don't need the fanciest of people to work for it.
You don't need the fanciest of people to work for it.
That's a nice way to put it.
But you still need to be able to trust your workers who are driving your trucks and handling your equipment, and especially on
other
customers'
people's
property.
Yeah.
So even things like that, or renting. I mean, you don't want someone who's going to be throwing bad parties. I mean, a party is fine, but
you don't want somebody who
destroying property.
Yeah.
You don't want them renting your place. And you would think it's common sense that people would understand that, but
a lot of the comments I've read on different websites on this say it's a step towards turning the U.S. into China with their whatever they call it, social scoring.
Okay.
And it will slowly turn your credit score into your social score. I don't think that's entirely true. One part I do like about credit scores is you really can't look up somebody else's credit score without like written permission.
Yeah.
And so it's one way to help keep yourself private from the rest of the world, but you still have this score that shows like how upstanding of a person you are. I wish, unlike credit scores now, where it's kind of like a magic sauce of
different
of a
things.
formula, it was more upfront. Like, oh, here's how you can improve it. Do this, this, and this, and it was more checkboxy and gamified.
Because it is a game.
Yeah,
in a way. Yeah.
Game of life, as I'm reading above the camera. But yeah, it's super scary. But I think getting a social score is going to happen in the world no matter what. I think it's an inevitable thing. Because Or it already kind of is with Instagram likes and followers.
Yeah.
And Facebook friends, not so much anymore. But it's already that way. It's like, oh, you have 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. You're 29,000 subscribers more important than me or something like that. I think this is just more going to unify it. So it's instead of being like, oh, you're popular here, but you're not here. This would be, oh, you're popular on Earth, but you're not on Instagram. I think it's going
to... that was an interesting statement.
You're Earth popular.
So you can just hop on the ISS with NASA.
You could be space popular then.
Yeah. Out of this world.
Really shooting for the stars. Yeah, when I first read this, I thought it was an Onion article, to be honest.
I can see how you would see that. But yep, our next article is about the possibility of NASA opening the ISS, the International Space Station, to commercial businesses and more private astronauts in 2020.
And the word commercial businesses and private astronauts is important because it doesn't mean anyone can go.
Yeah, true.
Just because you have 50 million to blow doesn't mean you can go.
Yet.
You have to become a private astronaut or a commercial business, I would assume, in the field of space.
One of the interesting things that I thought about while reading this article was it looks like they're going to be doing a lot more tests. Well, previously NASA did tests on the International Space Station about not having gravity and things like that, but they had a policy against tests which could be used for monetization purposes. But now this would be opened up to commercial businesses.
Okay.
Which means that there could be a company that gets on the leading edge of space tech.
Ooh.
So once you know, the outer space stuff gets a lot more serious.
I was trying to figure out who would want to go, because for $50 million, you get 30 days on a space station.
Which is a lot of money.
For 30 days. In fact, we can do
That's
that
probably
math.
is that for one person too?
I think it's one person. I don't know for sure.
So there's no kidding, it's expensive.
Divided by 30. Come on. Wow, that's a...
It's basically 1.6 million.
Yeah, $1.6 million per day. Because at that point, you don't care about the other $600,000 in there. Yeah, I think it is per person. I don't know for sure, though. Doesn't really make a difference to me, so... Not directly, at least.
And this is also going to be kind of phasing out the government funding of NASA as well. Which, actually, the government does not put as much money toward NASA as a lot of people think. It's a very small percentage of the budget. But that'll still have an effect on people.
Now, NASA can actually have a little bit of money, I think.
Yep. So hopefully this will bring more money towards NASA.
I'm curious if they'll make the space station bigger, or if there's a big enough demand.
One thing they did mention was adding on additional modules.
Okay.
So if a company needs a particular type of module for a purpose.
Okay. Because, I don't see a point in putting up ISS V2 and having two space stations. To me,
rather than just expanding
combine
the
them
current,
and make one mega ISS. But I would be curious on who would go up. I would imagine Google would be up there real fast.
Trying to get on that leading edge. And
yeah. And, because, wasn't it we just talked about Elon Musk trying to get internet globally? I think that was Elon.
Yeah.
So, it was either Elon or Mark.
I know Facebook had talked about,
Facebook tried
satellites and stuff.
I wonder if any of them would go up there to do more real-life tests. Because then they can do tests without the gravity.
Yeah.
Or G-force or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. But I thought it was an interesting article for sure. Then we've got the Samsung TV one.
Yeah. Speaking of antivirus choices.
So this is an article from techspot.com titled Samsung tells owners of its QLED TVs to manually scan for malware every few weeks. Not just their phones, not just their computers, now their TVs. So obviously this will be for any, network connected televisions. but I just thought that was kind of funny.
It's
Funny
pretty
title.
hysterical. Because I've always been anti-smart TV. I've never once said, I see the point in smart TV. They're so stupid in my opinion.
Because you can just connect a computer to it.
You just put a
the
computer
same
to it. And if you're like, oh, well, I can't afford a second computer, you can put like a Roku or an Apple TV or a Fire TV.
Yeah.
Or I think Hulu Box is now a thing.
Yeah.
Instead of having it built in. Because the problem with it built in is that it ages and dies with the TV. But if you buy a Fire Stick, it will probably outlive your TV. Because a lot of it's backwards compatible for a good while.
Yeah, they just plug into your HDMI port and go.
So I've
Pretty
never liked smart TVs. I've always thought they were dumb.
I think this is kind of showing what's going to be a bigger problem in the near future, where everything in people's houses is connected to the internet.
Yeah.
Like microwaves connect to the internet, which I think Amazon has something like that. Refrigerators connect to the internet,
Which are now.
Yeah, which is now becoming a thing. The more things that are connected to the internet is more potential for vulnerabilities.
Yeah, which is why you need two internets in your house. One for online and one for offline.
Back to the automated home stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Which I haven't done anything with. But we will slowly get there. Yeah, but reading this article is mind-blowing. Because I forgot who it was. I would imagine it was LG. Was caught in the act of watching what people are watching on their televisions. It's like that's the exact same thing as a virus, just instead of it being
It's
a third party, it's
built-in.
first party virus.
Yeah.
So it's mind-boggling that people are shocked that you could get a virus on your smart TV. It's just a computer.
Yeah.
It's a really dumb computer.
Yeah.
Did they tell you how to scan for viruses?
I think they had a step-by-step process. In the article I was reading...
Because if it's not a 2-minute thing, I would imagine no one would do it.
Yeah, I can also imagine no one doing it. It looks like there's a button. So, according to TechSpot, Samsung's Twitter account posted something about a process which involves going to General Settings, System Manager, Smart Security, and Scan
Oof.
to scan it. So Samsung had posted a tweet about this, actually, and then deleted the tweet. So that was where a lot of the
I wonder if they're
controversy came from as
forcing
well.
it through an update then.
That's a good question because...
They would have to, I would think.
Yeah.
Because, nobody who owns a smart TV is going to scan their TV for viruses. To me, that's weird. But I could see them enforcing it in an update, so every 7 days or something, it
gets automatically
auto-forces
wiped.
scanned.
Yeah.
The weirdest part is that this is a Samsung brand TV, which is like the expensive high-end TVs I've always thought of them as. It's not like the TCL or the Scepter by Sony or whatever. It's when you think Samsung, you're thinking multi-$1,000 smart TVs.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of that $400 smart TV that was on sale.
But guess what? It can happen to your Samsung too.
Yeah, so just get rid of your smart TV, plug a computer in. It's a way better
Yeah,
experience.
your computer can't get viruses, so you're good.
Yeah. And if they do, we got a list for you.
Yep. That's our topics.
We got
Oh, there's one more topic.
Google Lyric one. So Genius, which is a lyrics website, which I actually use a lot because I can't understand lyrics in most of these songs.
Yeah.
Apparently caught Google in the act of stealing the lyrics off their website and posting it directly in the search results, which I've actually noticed recently is that when I type in a song and then just put lyrics at the end of it, Google pulls up the song lyrics as a search result above all the search results. It's like, oh, here's the song lyrics. I'm like, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I would go Genius or Lyrics XYZ.
And you have to find one of the
something.
websites that actually has the lyrics, and they have to be the correct lyrics.
And then there's 47 pop-ups.
Yep.
Because they need to make their penny.
Yep.
But Google's denying it, I believe. As of right now, Google's saying, We take data quality and creator rights very seriously and hold licensing partners accountable to the terms of our agreement, Google told the journal. Moreover, Google issued a second statement to say it's investigating the issue and will terminate its agreements with partners that aren't upholding good practices. I don't know what that means in
It's very vague,
layman terms.
which is probably the point.
Yeah. But it looks like stealing intellectual property is not above Google, from the looks of it.
And neither is denying it.
And neither is denying it.
Well, this makes me think of other companies such as Facebook. I have not made any more progress on my projects. My phone. I see we've got the
Yep.
Raspberry
Hasn't
Pi
moved.
here, as always. Showing up every week in the
Soon
video.
we're just going to put a shelf so the background's not boring. It's going to be whatever project Jacob's not touching.
We do need to actually come up with a background.
Yeah.
Or something.
Or we can slowly shift it. And then, so if you go through every video, you get a virtual 360. It's a very time-consuming project.
Yes, that's an option.
But yeah, background ideas would be cool. Otherwise, we can throw up a green screen.
Throw up a green screen and then we have to put a background on that.
Yeah, we can do like a volcano with flames or something.
That would be awesome.
It's about the right temperature, I'll tell you that. Yeah, project-wise, didn't really do any projects.
Not the
this
tech
week.
projects, anyway.
Yeah, I didn't do any tech projects. I really want to get on that home automation project. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah. It's a lot even just to get started.
But I think it's time to play some VR.
All right. You want to stream it? We could.
We could definitely stream it. It's the same computer.
All right. Well, that's it for Let's Tech About It this week.
Yeah.
You may or may not see us streaming some games in just a minute.
We'll probably stream.
We'll probably stream some games. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Same time,
Same
channels.
tech about it.
Let's talk about that.
How to stop.